Norbert from Xanten. Who was this man, whose name brands our college? He was born about 950 years ago. He was born into a world of warring nobles. He was born into a church in need of reform. He was the second son of the Count of Gennep, a castle town in Holland on the Maas River on the edge of Germany. As the second son, he would not inherit his family's possessions. Instead, he became a student and a cleric training for the priesthood in the nearby German town of Xanten. But Norbert was an opportunist type who hedged his bets and held off ordination. Instead, he attached himself to the court of the Archbishop of Cologne and to the court of the German emperor in that city. In the year 1115, while riding with a companion to the town of Vreden, the road before Norbert was struck by lightning. Norbert fell unconscious to the ground. On rising, he cried out, "Lord, what do you want me to do?" In response, he heard, "Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." Soon after, Norbert was ordained a priest and set out for years traveling throughout France, Germany, and Belgium, preaching peace and reconciling warring parties. Worn out by preaching peace and reform, Norbert agreed to establish a community to gather together his hundreds of disciples. This happened at an isolated forest area called Prémontré, about 70 miles northeast of Paris. But Norbert was hard to hold down in one place. He continued to preach on the road. The force of his personality and his preaching drew him to men and women of power and wealth, many of whom turned over to him their properties for their establishment of new monasteries. Only 5 years after founding Prémontré and the Norbertine order, Norbert was elected Archbishop of Magdeburg. But Norbert remained a reformer, and his attempt to reform the church in Magdeburg led to several attempts on his life. Exhausted by years of travel and service, Norbert died in Magdeburg on June 6, 1134, and was buried in the Church of Our Lady, to which he had earlier brought his Norbertine brothers. In 1582, Norbert was declared a saint. In 1627, Norbert's body was brought to the Norbertine Abbey of Strahov in Prague. Norbert's body rests in Prague. His spirit has gone out through the world. It has come to rest here in the Diocese of Green Bay, where since 1893, Norbert's disciples have been at work, and where since 1898, they have taught by word and example on the banks of the Fox at St Norbert College.